Okay, folks, today in this packet, what I do is teach you how to factor harder three-term expressions. Now, there's a reason they're called harder three terms. You've got three terms right there, okay? You're trying to find the two parentheses that multiply to these three terms. Okay, now you've done three terms before, but there's always been a 1 in front of the x to the second. We've always had a 1 here, not today, not on this one. So three terms. So I set up my same exact procedure with the greatest common factor box, the GCF box. Put that under here today. And then my second box for that little T chart, okay? So GCF, now I don't have a negative in front of the 4, so the GCF's positive. I don't have X on every line, okay? X the first. Okay, so let's see what they say about 4, 3, and 8. Well, it still says it's 1, okay? So we can get rid of that. So I go A, B, C. And I connect my 4 to my 3 because I'm going to multiply those. Positive 4 times positive 3. That's positive 12. If it doesn't have come out with a sign, it's positive. So 12 positive. So since it's positive, we're going to add. We're trying to add to 8. Same as before. 8's negative. So now I start dividing 1 and 12. 1 plus 12 is not 8. Then how about 2? 12 divided by 2. I got 6. That's not a negative. That's a pen mark. Okay. So 2 and 6. Now 6 plus 2 is 8. Okay. So we add those. We plus them. It's 8. So the 6 has to be negative because the 8 is. And then we have a positive up here. And that means the signs are the same. So the same as a negative means another negative. Now is where the game changes. I want you to start putting down here what your A equals. So go find your A, the very first term. It's 4x to the second. Well, since it's 4, I can't do 1 times 1, 1x, because 1 times 1 is not 4. I mean, think about it. Don't write this down. 1 times 1, is there any way that that's 4? No. Okay? Well, I need two numbers in front of my x that if I multiply them, I get 4. It's got to be the right two numbers. So anytime my A has anything other than a 1, I'm going to make actually 4 total parentheses, 2 lines, okay? Now what I do then is I take this 4 and put 4 and 4, and we're going to do 4x and 4x. And then I'm going to put minus 2, minus 6. Now, we know that this is wrong because 4 times 4 is not 4 either, okay? Because remember, this times this has to be 4x to the second. We have x times x there, which is to the second, but 4 times 4 is 16. I do not have 16 right here. So then what I do is I'm going to underline these two terms, and then I'm going to put 4 and 2 into my GCF calculator. So 4 comma 2, I came out with 2. So I need to divide these both by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and the x would stay there, minus, and then 2 divided by 2 is 1. So you can cross that out. I want you to. Now I go into my other parentheses, and I'm going to divide here, okay? But 4 and 6, I check what 4 and 6 is on my GCF calculator. 4 comma 6, the largest number we can divide them by, and I get 2 there as well. So I need to divide these by 2, and 4 divided by 2 is 2 with x. Put your x's there. Minus 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay? Now, this is where we're going to stop today. Now, on the orange paper, you don't need to take notes on this. I'm going to prove to you that that's right. So I have 2x minus 1 multiplied by 2x minus 3. So remember how to multiply these, okay? First you circle the 2x and then you do your rainbows, okay? So I have 2x times 2x and then 2x times negative 3. Okay, and then we're done with that. Then I take -1 and times it by the same two things. So -1 times these same two things, 2x -3. So remember how our rule for multiplying, we put 1, 1, 1, nothing, nothing, and 1. So 2 times 2 is 4, then on x, 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 times -3 is -6, then on x, we just have the 1. -1 times 2 is -2, then on x, we just have the 1. And then -1 times -3 is +3. And then we go blank x to the second plus blank x plus blank. So x second, I have the 4. X, I have the 2x to the first powers. I add these two. -6 plus -2, and that's -8. And then I come up with 3. Okay, now I want you to compare this expression here to what we started with. 4x squared, -8x, and then 3. It's the same thing, okay? So this little trick works every time, and this is the answer I'm looking for. These are the two parentheses that would multiply out to this. That's what you're trying to figure out. Okay? I'm not going to check every answer. It's going to take forever. So again, we have 1, 2, 3 terms. So a GCF. I'm not even going to put equals 0 because we don't really have that. And then my big box with the T-chart. Okay, do I have a negative in the front? Nope. Do I have X on every line? Nope. And then 4, 7, and 3. Okay. 4, 7, 3. The only thing those can be divided by is 1, which means that's going to be a waste of time. Okay, then I go A, B, and C. So I connect 4 to 3. And I take +4 times +3. Well, it's the same thing. It's 12 positive. So we're adding. But this time we have 7. 7's positive. So 1 and 12, those do not add to 7. Okay, now let's divide 12 by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, 6 plus 2 is 8. We got to get 7, so now let's look at 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4, so 3 and 4. I think 3 plus 4 is 7. 4 plus 3 is 7. So it's these two. Now my 7's positive. That means a positive on the 4. Then we have positive up here, so the signs are the same. So +4, the same would be a +3. Okay? Now, A equals. A is a 4x to the second. So again, if it's not a 1, we can't just go 1x, 1x. We need 2 lines of parentheses. Instead of 1x, 1x, we're going to go 4x and 4x, and then +3 plus 4. Okay, now 4 and 3. Okay, remember what I'm trying to do is find the greatest common factor to divide these by. So 4, 3. It says it's 1. So dividing it by 1 just keeps it the same thing. So 4x plus 3. Now we're going to look at 4 and 4. So I'm going to go 4, 4. Now, it left it empty, okay? I punched it in and it's empty. When it's empty and it doesn't give you an answer, that means you need to divide by 4, the same number, okay? So you got to remember that. If you punch in 2 of the same number, it's going to leave it empty. That's telling you to divide by that number. So 4 divided by 4 is 1 with x plus, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now make sure you cross these out as soon as you find this, okay? So these are the two parentheses that multiply out up here. And if I did the same thing on the orange sheet, the same thing would happen. I'd just end up back to here with the rainbows. I'm doing the opposite of the rainbows. Okay, my next problem. 1, 2, 3, 3 terms. So GCF Anytime I see 3, this is what I'm going to be setting up. Okay, then my table. So GCF, do you have a negative in the 6? Nope. You don't have X on every line. You have X second, X first, and then nothing. So then I'm going to check out 6, 23, and 20. Okay, it just says 1 again. So if it's 1, okay, don't need it. A, B, C. Okay. So I connect my A to my C. I will be taking positive 6 times positive 20. Okay, that's positive 120. Okay, so if I get a positive, I'm going to add. Okay, and we're trying to add to 23. 23 is a negative, so 1 and 120. That's going to be 121. It's not 23. 2, once, oops, shouldn't have wrote it down. Divide by 2. No, I can write it down because I got 60. 60 plus 2 is 62, so it's not that. Now I divide 120 by 3. So I put 3 and 40. 40 plus 3, I'm adding. That's 43. It's got to be 23. Okay, then 120 divided by 4. This is a crappy problem. I get 4 and 30. 30 plus 4 is 34, so it's not 23. Now I'll try 5. 5 and 24. Okay, let's add 5 to 24, see if it's 23. Nope, it's 29. Okay, divided by 6, so I put 6 and 20. 20 plus 6 is 26. We are getting closer to 23, though. 20 divided by 7, 120 divided by 7. I got a decimal, so I don't even write 7 down. Now I go 8, okay? I got a whole number, so I write 8 down and 15. Now I add 15 plus 8. I got 23 finally. Gee, that wasn't an annoying problem at all. 23 is negative, making our 15 negative. And we have a positive again, so the signs have to be the same. So that's negative, that's negative. Okay, now look at your A. A is 6x to the second power. So if it's not 1, we can't do 1x, 1x. If we can't do that, we make 2 lines of parentheses. So I'm going to go 6x and 6x, and then minus 8 and minus 15. Okay, now we need to divide these down because 6 times 6 isn't 6 either. This rainbow from here to here should give me 6x to the second. Okay, but it will if you just trust the process. Okay, so I go 6 comma 8 and I get 2. So I divide these by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3 with x, and then minus 8 divided by 2 is 4. When you're doing this step here, just put the same sign that you see. Okay, you're done changing signs and all that. Then I look at 6 and 15. I put those in the calculator. 6, comma 15. I got 3. Okay, so we divide these down by 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 2x. And negative 15 divided by 3 is negative 5. So I put 5 with a minus sign. Cross that out. So if you do the rainbows with that like I did here, you're going to end up back here. Okay. And if you had to find the 2 answers, if that said equals 0, then you'd have F1, F2. Okay, right there. Okay, my next problem, 8x to the second power minus 14x to the first plus 3 is 0. Okay. So that's 3 terms again that I need to factor. So line parentheses for the GCF. Then a bigger box, much bigger, split down the middle with my table. Okay, do I have a negative in front? Nope. Do I have X on all lines? Nope. So let's see what they say about 8, 14, and 3. I got 1. Okay, so if the GCF's 1, we won't be doing it. A, B, C. So I connect the A to the C. Still doing that. So I take positive 8 times positive 3, and I get 24, which is positive. So I got another positive, so we're going to be adding the two numbers together to try to get 14, which is negative. 1 and 24, that's 25. Now let's divide 24 by 2, and that's 12. So I have 2 and 12. Okay, 2 plus 12 is 14. You go 13, 14. So it's these two. So 14 negative means 12 is negative, and we can forget about that. Now we have a positive up here. That means the two factors have to be the same sign. So negative 12, negative 2 would be the same sign. Okay, now A. A is 8x to the second power. So you cannot do 1x, 1x. That's wrong. Okay, so since it's 8, we're going to make two lines, and then we're going to go 8x and 8x. And then the minus 2 because it's negative, and minus 12 because it's negative. Now we're going to divide 2 at a time. So I punch in 8, 2, and GCF's 2. That means we're going to divide these by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4x. And then negative 1, so minus 1, and you can get rid of that factor. Okay, 8 and 12. Okay, so 8, 12 is 4. So I divide this down by 4. So I divide 8 by 4, which is 2, with x. And then I divide negative 12 by 4, which is negative 3. So I put minus 3. Okay, and that's it. If you did the rainbows, you'd end up back with this expression on top. Okay, my next problem. 2x to the second power minus 13x minus 24. So again, we have three terms. So GCF equals, and then the table. Okay, so again, we don't have the negative. We don't have x on every line, okay? And then we're going to punch in 2, 13, and 24. I just got a 1, okay? So if 1's the only thing I can find, we don't need to do that. Then A, B, C. So I take A times C. Now look carefully. 2's positive times, but 24 is negative, so negative 24. So I got 48, and 48's a negative. So if it's a negative, I'm not going to be adding, I'm going to be minusing to try to get the middle. So 13, 13's negative like it is. And now I find my factors. 48 minus 1 is 47, so I can't do that. 2 and 24. 24 minus 2 is not 13, it's 22. Now divide 48 by 3. You just got to keep your head on straight. 3, 16. 16 minus 3 is 13. So I have found the two numbers. Now I need to sign them the same way I always have. 13's negative, so 16's negative. And we have a negative product up here, so the signs are not the same. The signs have to be opposite. So if we have negative here, we're going to have positive here. Okay, now A, when I look up there, is 2x to the second. So it's not 1x, 1x. You need to make, to get this right, you're going to want to make, and you're like, just trust me. So 2x, 2x, trust the process I'm giving you. Plus 3. Minus 16. Okay, so 2 and 3. So 2, 3. I get 1 as the GCF. So when I divide by 1, it just keeps it the same. Exactly the same. Then here, 2 and 16. You don't need to worry about x's when you're doing that second part, okay? I got 2. So I divide by 2. divided by 2, 1x minus 8. Now, somebody asks you, why does that work like it does? Because if you multiply these two things, do your rainbows, and then the blank x squared, blank x, blank, you're going to end up back here. If you do everything correctly, I guarantee you. Okay, next, 3 terms. So, line parentheses for the GCF, and then I'm going to need a wider third box, okay? So GCF, I do not have the negative in front. I do not have x on everything. I mean, we have x a second, x a first, but what about 5? Negative 5 doesn't have anything. So I go 6, comma 7, comma 5. Okay, I just got 1 again. So if the GCF's just 1, get it out. A, B, C. So again, I multiply A by C. 6 times, now 5 is negative, so we got to get that 5 in as negative. So it's negative 30 this time. So a negative means I do a minus to try to get 7, which is positive. 1 and 30. 30 minus 1 is 29. That's not going to work. 30 divided by 2 is 15. So 2, 15. 15 minus 2 is not 7. 3. 30 divided by 3 is 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. So we have our two factors. Now the 7's positive, so 10's got to be positive. And we have a negative product. That means the signs are the opposite. Okay, so positive and negative. Now, A up there is 6x to the second, so you can no longer just rely on 1x, 1x. Okay, need 2 lines, and you're going to put 6x, 6x, minus 3 plus 10. Okay, so I see what I can do with 6 and 3, because we know 6x times 6x does not equal 6. Here, I'll even show you. 6. If you do a rainbow from here to here, 6 times 6 is 36. I don't have 36 up there, okay? So I go 6, comma 3 is 3. So I will be dividing these down by 3. Okay, 6 divided by 3 is 2x. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay. Now, 6 and 10, 6 comma 10, I got 2. So I can divide these by 2. So that gives me 3x plus 5. Okay, now, let's just pretend we're rainbowing 2x and 3x. So 2 times 3 is 6, okay, exactly. And then the 2 x's make it x to the second. And if you proceeded with the rest of the rainbows, you would end up with these 3, okay. Okay, next problem. 3x to the second power plus 23x minus 36. Okay, that is 3 terms. I'm looking to factor. So GCF and the T. I know GCF still seems like a waste of time with 3 terms. Trust me, you'll be happy you did it coming up after break. GCF negative. Do you have X on everything? Nope. 3, 23, and 36. 3, 23, 36. I got 1 again, so the GCF 1 means I will not do anything with the 3. Then A, B, C. So I will be timesing. Positive 3 times negative 36. That gives me 108, which is a negative. Okay, so we got a negative. So we're going to minus to try to come to 23, which is positive. 1 and 108. No, that's no way. That's 23. So I divide 108 by 2. I got 54, so I put 2, 54. 54 minus 2 is not 23. be 53, 52. Okay, 108 divided by 3, 3 and 36. Okay, minus 36 minus 3 is 33. We need 23 though. Okay, 108 divided by 4 is 27. Okay, now we're going to take 27 minus 4. I got 23. Okay, so 23 is plus. And we have a negative up there, so the signs are going to be the opposite. Okay, so the opposite of a plus is a negative. Okay, a up there is 3x to the second, so we will be making 2 rows of parentheses, 4 total, 3x and 3x, because why 3? Because that's what we have there. Okay, minus 4 plus 27. Okay, so I'm looking at 3 and 4, so 3, comma 4. I just got a 1, so you can divide by 1 if you want, but it really stays the same. Okay, 3 and 27. Okay, so 3, comma 27. I got 3, so I will be dividing these down by 3. 3 divided by itself is 1 with x, and then positive 27 divided by positive 3 is 9, okay, plus 9. Okay, and then x these out, they've served their purpose. All these do is help me get to the end, okay. All right, last problem, 4x to the second minus 4x minus 35, okay. So 3 terms, so GCF, and then the T chart. You're going to want your T to be pretty big here. GCF, okay. I don't have the negative. I do not have X on all my numbers. 35 doesn't. And then we're going to go 4, comma 4, comma 35, and I just get 1, okay. Okay, if the GCF's 1, not worth it. A, B, and C. So I will take positive 4 multiplied by negative 35, and that's 140, which is negative. So we are looking to minus to equal 4. 4, which is negative. 1 and 140 is nowhere close to a minus of 4. Okay, 140 divided by 2 is 70. 70 minus 2 is not even close to 4 either. Now I divide 140 by 3. I got a decimal, so I don't even write 3 down. Now divide it by 4, you get 35, so I write 4 down, and its answer, 35 minus 4, I don't believe that's 4. No. Okay, now 5. 140 divided by 5. So I got 28. So I need to write 5 down with the 28. 28 minus 5 is not 4. 6. 140 divided by 6. That's a decimal. I don't write 6 down. 7. Okay, so I get 7 and 20. 20 minus 7 is 13. Trust me, it's coming. I know it in my head right now. Okay, I got decimal. That's 17.5. 8 doesn't go down. Now 9. That's a decimal. Don't write 9 down. Okay, so I got 10 and 14. And 14 minus 10 is 4. So we finally found it. 4 is negative, meaning 14 is negative, and we have a negative product, meaning the signs have to be the opposite. Because the only way you can get a negative product is if you multiply 2 numbers of opposite signs. So negative, positive. Now A, look up there. A is 4x to the second power. Okay, so I'm going to need to make 2 lines of parentheses. And instead of 1x, 1x, we go 4x, 4x, and then plus 10 minus 14. Okay, so 4 and 10, we're going to put those into the calculator. 4 comma 10, I'm getting 2. Okay, that becomes 2x plus 5. 4 and 14. I'm getting 2 again, so divide by 2. That's 2x minus 4 divided by 2 is 2. And if 14 divided by 2, you can do negative 14 divided by 2. It's not going to matter. Okay, it's negative 7, but we know when we divide, we put 7 with a minus. Okay, so these are my two factors. 2x plus 5 times 2x minus 7.